Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today let's take a look at battery operated pumps. Do they actually move enough water to protect your basement or foundation? Let's take a look and you decide for yourself. So to help you understand, the battery backup system and is it really worth putting in, let's go through a recent install. Here we've got a sump basin already installed, and what we're going to do is go ahead and add collection. So we're going to add that catch basin so that the water as it floods in this area goes over to the sump basin. Inside the basin we're going to add two pumps. One is a regular 120 volt Zoller M98 and the battery backup, which is 12 volt. We start by digging a small little trench so that we can add this catch basin. We need to get deep enough so that we can drill into the side of the basin and bring a small pipe from this catch basin over to the sump basin. It's really not that hard. Just a small trench. You can see me digging it out. This will only take you a few minutes to do. Next, we need a small measurement from the catch basin over to the sump basin. And there's a nipple down here on the side of the basin. You've seen me cut that off many times. So we cut that off, set our catch basin down in place, and then we're going to set a small piece of pipe between the basin and the catch basin. I know that's confusing, but between basin and basin. And it's real simple. Make a measurement, use your hacksaw, cut it off. Next, we'll insert this pipe into the basin. We do that by cutting a small slit into the corrugated pipe, squeezing it together. When it slides into the basin, it expands and is extremely tight. Set your basin in place. We're all done. Now what I'm doing is I'm starting the discharge line. Remember, once we collect that water, we need to send it somewhere. These pumps are going to lift that water up, but we need to send it someplace. And simply use your shovel. I'm just starting a small trench. You can see I've already trenched behind me with a trencher. Now we cut the hole for the discharge pipe. 2-inch hole saw cuts right through this. Then we'll set our pump down into the basin. So you can see here's the discharge line with a 90. It's not glued. It's just setting here going out. We need to make a measurement from the inside of this no-hub to the inside of this coupling. I like to just use my saw and transfer the measurement. So I'll do that. We'll make that measurement and we'll put it together. Okay, so I made that measurement and secured the top no-hub. All the bands are tight. Next, we're going to go ahead and put on the 90. You can put it on either one just to show you how it goes together. It goes together very nicely. Whoops. So I went ahead and made the measurement of this riser, secured all of the no-hub clamps, and then you can see it just comes up. We'll glue this together. Once it comes outside, we can do whatever. We can put a no-hub out here, or we can put a coupling on it and continue. Remember, good amount of glue. I like to actually work on the top, twist it, hold it. That's the best way I like. And then we'll put it on the bottom, put it inside as well. Then we can just move it over and just push down on it. And let's let that set up. Give it just a few seconds to set up. We're done. Now we can hook a no-hub onto the end of this. Remember what a no-hub is. It's hard plastic, black plastic, but it's real hard. This meets code to most all plumbing. But we can put that on the end if we need to have a little twist, or we could just put a coupling on here, either one. A real quick note about how a sump pump works. I've seen some videos talking about putting it down into a T. Well, that probably does remove water, but you need something to collect the water. Notice how high this inlet line is coming from the small catch basin. It comes over. As water drops down into this pit, of course, then the float rises, comes up, kicks on, and then it discharges. As the water goes down, the float goes down, it shuts off. It works great, and it doesn't recycle. It's not burning out your pump, no matter how much water there is. However, if your inlet line is down here, you've got two lines. Say you got two lines coming in. Got another pipe coming in, another pipe coming in. This is going to just cycle water constantly. You need a place for water to accumulate for it to work properly. Water coming in down here, that's just picking up groundwater. Your pump's going to run all the time. So be aware.
Okay, so finished our trench. Remember, we have this pump set up, showed you how to do that. Now we can attach with a no hub or a coupling. We'll come down the trench.
Now let's hook up that discharge to daylight. This is 1.5-inch pipe, comes from the top of that sump pump. Remember, there's a check valve so water can't come back down the line. Simple job. I've already trenched out the line, installed the pipe. This is something you guys can easily do yourselves and truly save thousands of dollars doing so. This is not a hard project. All the parts are readily available. Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, plumbing supplies. Take you about an hour to do all this. It doesn't take long at all. So I went ahead and backfilled, and just for demonstration purposes, let's go ahead and see how well the 1/2 horsepower pump works. So as it rains, water will flood into the catch basin and then go over to the sump pump basin, where the 1/2 horsepower pump is going to lift this water up and send it out to daylight. You can see it filling up. It's just a garden hose, but it simulates what we're talking about. Now, remember, the 1/2 horsepower pump moves 80 or 90 gallons a minute. That's 3 trash cans full of water every minute. Let's take a look and see how well that actually comes out. There's so much pressure here. It's going to push this water up and out. I simply turn the line here to show you the discharge, and watch. You're going to be amazed how much pressure this pump creates and how fast it actually works. Take a look. That is the 1/2 horsepower pump pumping water. It can easily keep up with huge rainfall. Okay, now let's set up a battery operated pump. This pump says that it can push about 12 gallons per minute. So during a big rain event, this pump says it can move 12 gallons per minute. So that is what, like 2 buckets, 5-gallon buckets every minute? That's a fair amount of water. Some of the drawbacks, notice this only has a 1-inch opening for the discharge. Slows it down dramatically. So I hooked up the discharge, which is basically just a garden hose, and I'm going to go ahead and bury that, in the same trench, which I already did. And now we're going to go ahead and hook this up. Remember, this is 12 volt, operated by a battery. Most battery backups come with a control system to keep this battery charged. I actually use solar power to keep it charged. I think the sun is the best way. It's free to power a battery backup system. Same demonstration. I've got the hose running into the basin, and you can see I've got that pump on right now. Look at how slow this pump moves water. Do you remember the other one? It moved that water out of there within seconds. Take a look. Let's take a look at the discharge of the garden hose. Here it is. It's a trickle. Will it remove water from your basement or foundation? Yes, it will. But look at the difference. I can create pressure with my thumb, but remember the pressure from the 1/2 horsepower pump? It's not even close. People like to put in a battery operated pump because the power goes out. And in a basement, yeah, I think that this is a great idea. Out here in the yard or in a crawl space or along the foundation wall, remember that's picking up almost immediate rainfall, and it will not keep up with that amount of water. So remember, when making your choice about getting a battery backup system, that the amount of water that little battery backup pump will remove is very small as compared to the actual house power on a 1/2 horsepower pump. I've read a lot about different battery backup systems, and probably some of the best ones, they say they can move 20 to 30 gallons per minute. I've never seen this. I've never seen a battery pump lift more than 10 or 12 gallons per minute. So you decide, do you really need that battery backup? I think that in a basement it is a great idea. For outside drain, crawl space, foundation drain, I really don't think that's going to be any benefit at all.
Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day. Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today I'm up here in Columbus, Ohio. We are at a house that is on the OSU golf course. That's Ohio State Buckeye Golf Course. And we are here with the company called Atlantic Drain. And this is the owner of Atlantic Drain. This is Chris. Good morning. And what they're doing is they're cleaning a downspout drain. They're using a machine that's a little different than the one that we use. It's a Big Mac, and it works exactly the same way. The reel keeps turning and turning and turning. The cable goes down through the line, and if it hits something, the end of the cable will stop turning, but the machine continues to turn. It builds up tension, spins, and cuts the roots or finds the problem that's down in the line. Atlantic Drain does the maintenance on this house every year, and they've been doing it for over 20 years. And that may seem like, an extreme, but to replace these downspout drains here would cost a fortune. So it's much more cost effective to maintenance and clean your lines every year or however often you need to. Okay, so let's recap. What had been happening here is, water had been coming down this driveway, and of course what it was doing was turning and flooding into this carport and destroying the wood inside that shed. So we put in a catch basin, we cut the driveway, put in a catch basin, new pipe comes out, picks up the downspout, all the way out, cut the walk, goes all the way out